Collins.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman. Secretary Salazar, it's great to see you, even if it is under a difficult circumstance, discussing issues that are absolutely critical. I want to follow up on the point that both Senator Feinstein and Senator Alexander made, and that is that just reorganizing the MMS does not deal with the essential issues of accountability and culture. And Senator Tester was starting to get into those issues. I've read both the September 2008 IG report and the report from May of this year. And they both paint an absolutely appalling picture of an agency that is rife with cronyism and corruption. As the IG said back in September of 2008, we're talking about very serious misconduct. My basic question is, are the employees who were cited for serious misconduct still working for the department? You mentioned that in some cases there had been criminal charges brought, but are you confident, can you assure us that all of the agency's employees that were cited for serious misconduct, such as taking gifts, negotiating employment, while they were still working with the federal government, have been removed from their position or otherwise sanctioned?
The answer to that, Senator Collins, is appropriate action has been taken, which means that some of them have been terminated, some of them have been referred to prosecution, some of them have been dealt with under the personnel system. The more recent report, which also dealt with conduct dating back to 2004 and 2005, is a recent report in the last, I think, 20 or 30 days, and we've taken appropriate personnel action in terms of putting. Let me just say they have been put in a on leave without pay, and we're in the process of moving forward to determine what the appropriate ultimate personnel action should be taken, and if necessary, other kind of action.
What's alarming to me is the first report was nearly 2 years ago, and yet we have a subsequent report just last month that indicates the same kinds of problems, albeit in different offices, same agency. That means there was not a systemic reaction to the first report. So I know you have a new director, Mr. Bromwich, and those are issues you're charging him with. But I think it's important for this committee to know specifically what actions have been taken, both to correct this culture of corruption, but also to deal with the individual employees. And I would ask that that be provided. Let me go on to a second issue. The Homeland Security Committee also held an oversight hearing to look at the coordination among the various agencies that are responsible for reviewing the oil spill response plans. And what we found is that current law divides that responsibility. The Coast Guard is responsible for approving the oil response plan for vessels. The MMS reviews and approves them for offshore facilities. The EPA approves them for onshore facilities. There's very little exchange of plans or approvals among those three agencies. I was disappointed, for example, that there exists no requirement for MMS to share the oil response plans for offshore facilities with the Coast Guard, which is responsible for approving the vessel that's right over the well. Shouldn't there be more coordination among those three agencies? Shouldn't the plans be shared between the MMS and the Coast Guard, for example?
The answer to that is absolutely yes, that should happen, and there was, in fact, consultation. Don't know whether, to the greatest degree, whether that happened in the way it should have happened, but the answer to that is yes. If I may, on the culture of corruption issue, Senator Collins, we're looking with both of the Inspector General reports through the Royalty in Kind program, mostly in Lakewood. That was the sex and drug scandals, and then the most recent report, also relating mostly to 04, 05, 06 conduct in the Louisiana offices. And we're taking a look at those issues. I also have asked the Inspector General to take a look at whether or not the ethics initiatives that we took at the beginning of the administration have changed the culture. So I've asked her to look at what is happening with these kinds of issues between January of 09 and now. And second of all, that is a charge that I have given to Mike Bromwich. And so I would like him to respond just generally, because I think it's a question that you all have, how we're going to attack this culture of corruption, because it goes beyond, frankly, just issuing ethics orders and performance plans. If that would be okay, Madam Chair. If I can have Mike.
It does. It obviously goes well beyond the issuing of formal ethics orders. It goes beyond training, although both of those elements are important. It is how you deal with the kinds of misconduct that you identify that has appeared in those two Inspector General reports. I've read them as well, and it is shocking behavior. It's absolutely shocking behavior. I hope and I think it is not pervasive across the agency. I hope it is limited to pockets of personnel, some of which are already gone, and the rest of which, if I have my way, will be gone soon. So there will be zero tolerance for corruption, coziness, etc. And we will work aggressively both through the IG's office and through the new internal unit that I'm setting up, which I think is assigned to the organization that I personally mean business, to root out the vestiges of what shouldn't have been there to begin with, but regrettably were. And so it will be a sustained push. It will be making clear that there will be zero tolerance for what has apparently been tolerated in the past. There will be the encouragement of people to come forward with information suggesting corruption, among others. So in the short term, Senator, there may be more of these allegations that come forward. It's not going to stop overnight, and we're not going to have unearthed everything already. So I would ask for your patience on that, but I pledge to all of you that I will work in a very determined and very aggressive way to get that out of this agency.